Hello and welcome to another episode of the LTA report. We had a little bit of tech issues in the beginning, but we're here. Just a quick reminder, as always, I'm gonna put it so that it's automatic now, and I don't have to go in and do it every time. But we have a Discord channel, which is where community engages, and we try to take feedback and whatnot. So we'll put we'll put that in the description so you guys can join the Discord. And we're on TikTok as well. We're actually live on TikTok for the first time. So if you just prefer to watch there, I know some people prefer to watch either YouTube or TikTok, whichever it is that you prefer. We are live on YouTube and TikTok, and Discord is the main way we communicate, announcements, all that stuff. With that being said, we had a week of games. Games that we thought were going to be close, that weren't really close. Games that we thought weren't going to be close, that were close. And games that we thought weren't going to be close, weren't close. So we'll just start with the main matchup, right? The top two teams facing against each other. Everybody knew that these two teams would meet in the upper bracket finals. Everybody was never mind. It was Shopify versus FlyQuest. FlyQuest and Shopify. I mean, okay, I'm the resident Shopify fan. Like, I will fight for them my death. I'm super proud of the boys. We played a 4v5. I am not surprised that FlyQuest had a lot of success when we didn't have a mid laner that series. After the series, like he posted, he's like, one of my worst weeks. I'll play better. Besides that, I left as a fan, before we talk like specifically about the games. As a fan, I left those games very frustrated. Because even when we were playing 4v5, we had so many opportunities to win the game. And I know people are going to look at the score. It's like 3-1. They won the one game you won. Like, Buppo wasn't there. Haha. Like, you guys basically got crushed. But if you just look at the games, game one, yes, we didn't do anything. I felt very frustrated. Like, we just let the game happen for 16 minutes, and then we took one fight, lost it, and lost the game. And it's like, that's not Shopify. That's not how we play. Games 2, 3, and 4, we were fighting. We were like more proactive. We were choosing the angles that we wanted to fight. One of the things that we've been really good at is picking fights that are like even or good for us, which is part of the reason people are like, oh, they're not too scary. But it's like, yeah, but we don't fight like 100 Thieves where we take good and bad fights. We're not Team Liquid where we pick like good and bad. We just try to take good fights, and usually that leads to us, turning the game around. One of the things that Revan told me afterwards, I had an interview, was that he felt that the things that we normally did well, we did poorly. Yeah. And the things that we normally do poorly, we did well. I felt that too. I was like, we're making mistakes we don't usually mistake. Game 3, if you look at it, like, FlyQuest were inting that game, except for Quad. Like, Masu got caught, Aatrox got a solo kill on Bwipo, and then he went mid lane and killed Masu. Busio had to execute, and then like a minute later, Busio and Trundle, inspired on Trundle, both get caught. We get a free dragon. And then you go to the next dragon, and you used we're down items. It's not even our time to fight, and we blow everything on the Mbessa, and like we don't kill the Mbessa. And then instead of leaving, when we're like, oh, we can't kill, Fudge just goes in 1v4. Galio goes melee range to miss a Q, and like it was so poorly played that normally we don't really make those mistakes. And so like I felt frustrated at the mistakes, because if you look before that, the game state is good. Same thing with game 4. Like, I know Trin got a pentakill, but like we had a relatively okay draft dealing with Tryndamere. We had a Rel that can stun him, and a Skarner who even inspired on pros was like, yeah, Skarner is actually quite good into Tryndamere, but like I didn't want to play Jarvan, so I kind of had to. We were diving their bot lane. Like, we had leads in the bot lane and in the top lane. It was a Sion versus Gnar, so obviously you're going to have a lead. But, like, the game was in our hands, and we kind of chucked it by doing things we don't normally do, and that's why I was frustrated. But that also does, on the upside, I guess, looking at the fact that they're still not demotivated. They're like, yeah, we know if we just play a little bit better, if it's not 4v5, if our mid laner logs into the game and like connects to the game and plays the game how he normally does, if we don't like make uncharacteristic mistakes like these, we can win this. Maybe because I got to talk to the head coach, I feel that way. But obviously, after the games ended, I was very frustrated at what I saw, because like we wouldn't have beat Cloud9 if we were making these types of mistakes. So that's how I felt. How did you feel knowing that your team should have been there and wasn't? or was expected, sorry, to be there and
I think
wasn't.
like hindsight's like definitely a wonderful thing, because if we're anywhere in the remotely split twos performances, we would have, we would have 3 that flight quest. Like they were not playing well. The problem I have with your guys is you start off slow in every series. Like game one was, you could replace the nameplates, it looked the exact same as when you played us. You're quite slow, quite disjointed. It's either like Fudge or Seos just walking up. The team's not even following them, so it's just like a tank walking up, getting caught because they're too far up, and then getting picked apart in that mid lane gap. Oh, I don't even like. The Palafox haters have a lot of ammo just from that particular series, and like I kind of agree with you. Like even though it was 4v5, it was winnable. I think it was a game 3. Um, I thought that you guys got. I'm surprised you guys won game 2, like, considering how like far that like, ahead they were, and then Bushi just gets like randomly
They
caught.
weren't that far ahead at all.
They were like
Like
3 or
we
4.
were ahead in the early game. We made
Yeah,
one mistake in the third dragon, and they got 2 kills. But like, if you look at the kills, I think it was 6 to 7 kills, and like they were up 2 towers, so they're up 2K gold. But I don't think like the game was
I remember
unwinnable.
like when you got Baron before that, just before that, when you caught Lucio and Inspired, you're like 3 or 4, 5K up. Oh, down. Sorry, it was like quite a significant lead that they had.
Oh, the Otacon fight because of the Rumble. Yeah. We threw at Otacon. You're right, but I still think we had just had a better comp. Like,
And also, like, I don't like to put any blame on him really because he's a 17-year-old kid, but the Gatkos really wasn't playing that well on Rumble. Like, it was very disjointed, which to be expected. It's just his second ever pro game, and both times they're on Rumble playing weak side is kind of difficult.
yeah, I mean, I felt very disrespected when they subbed in Gakkos, and then Nukta goes and he was like, "Oh, I thought we were gonna be red side, and we had like some strategy planned." And then I was just like, What do you mean? We always pick red side. Like, have you not done your homework?" And then they asked Revan about it, and he was like, "What?" And then I told Revan, and he was like, "I didn't want to say it, but like, did they not do their scouting? Like, what's going on with FlyQuest?"
No, they're more too
So
busy
yeah, I
FF and scrims.
they were too busy. We can talk about scrim culture in a bit. But I definitely felt. I know Bippo gave an interview afterwards, and he was like, "Where the like they basically got 4-0. The cracks aren't showing in us." And I'm like, "No, I don't. Just because you won the games, like I feel like you should look at the context of the games." And I felt like the context of the game was like we had an off series, and we still like showed that you guys are beatable. What happens if we don't have an off series? What happens if we don't not do anything in game 1? What happens if we like play game, 3 and don't throw game 3? Like I obviously we're living in the lands of what ifs. The result is the result. Pupa won every single one of his games. Even though he was getting solo killed, he was still winning the game, so who cares, right? But I I'm hopeful that we can win the rematch. I'll say that much.
If you get the rematch.
When we get the rematch, yeah.
If you get the rematch.
But I'm sure from FlyQuest's perspective, like just hearing what the FlyQuest fans had to say, they're pretty confident the FlyQuest is going to win. I mean, when your jungler first picks for the first time Tryndamere and gets a pentakill, that just completely makes it feel like you guys are untouchable. I don't know. I just don't feel that way. Maybe I'm delusional because I'm Shopify. I'm like, oh, we have a chance to beat them, but I just don't feel that way. I don't feel like they're untouchable. I think we can get them.
I think it's definitely a possibility. I personally feel if we can step up to how even like remotely we were, we'll win the split. The question is, will we even get there? We can answer that a little bit later on. And I think that's what's disappointing as well. Is like the teams aren't really pushing FlyQuest how you'd want them. In a way that you wanted someone to take that upper bracket series just to make them work for it. because I can see them like strolling into finals, pretty confident that they're gonna win. And like this team needs a humbling. It's just which team can actually do the humbling.
Hopefully they
My
will be
cameras
humbled, regardless of
absolutely
your
shit in the
camera's
bed.
like it's
League of
it's struggling a little
technical
bit.
difficulties.
Yeah, today there's been a bunch of technical difficulties, but we're still live. That's what matters.
That's the main thing.
Yeah, we can actually talk about Team Liquid next. If you have
Yeah.
nothing more to say about the FlyQuest Shopify series.
Oh, I do not want to. Firstly, did you watch the video with Spawn?
The one in the locker room where he's
Yes.
saying like how everybody should thank Yuji. Yeah, I watched that.
Firstly, so for context, and I'm gonna be paraphrasing because there's been a lot of stuff going on today, so like do bear with us. But one of the things that Spawn said is that Yuji came into one of the most toxic environments he's seen in League of Legends history. That is a big shoe to fill, considering that's not even probably the most toxic Team Liquid environment we've they've ever been in. Like, I don't think we're anywhere remotely close to a breaking point. But these guys were, like, coming into the year, they were the defending champions. They were, one of the defending champions. One of the best teams of the past year and a half, taking T1 to the multiple free games, having good international showings, and then by the end of it, you lost 3-0 to 100 Thieves. That floor is extremely low. But my question is, what players is making this environment extremely toxic?
I can answer the question.
I don't want to speculate unless there's been things that have been said, like publicly.
I'm not speculating. I'm talking facts. So I can't answer that question, but what I can answer is what I can say is Impact has been on a 9th place team twice in his career. Once on Team Liquid back in 2020, which that team everybody thought was a super team, was going to win the league, right? They had just won 4 splits in a row.
Yep.
And then the next team was FlyQuest in 2023, where they basically everybody was like, they're going to win everything. They're going to go undefeated. Oh my God, this FlyQuest team is amazing in spring. They go in summer. They finish 9th. Like absolutely like spectacular failure. And from someone who's coached Impact, named Peter Dunn, right? He worked with him on EG. He says, Impact is a very intense person. He is not surprised that when teams do very well, he is able to elevate that team. But he's also not surprised that when things don't do well, that he's part of it. He's like, you're an intense person in a very intense environment. I don't think he's doing any favors to the environment. Now, that doesn't mean he's a bad player. That doesn't mean he's a bad like overall negative. I just think that he increases things. He's a force multiplier. If you guys are spiraling downwards, you're going to spiral downwards even more with Impact. If you guys are spiraling upwards, you're going to spiral upwards even more with Impact. Now, why is the team going on the down? I think there's a couple of reasons. I think one of the things we gave APA a lot of credit for last year has changed. Where like he had his champions. He found out he was very, very good at macro. He was very good at moving with the team. And guess what? It was all Yuji. And it was all Umti. Like he was called the general for a reason. We didn't see it, but he was the one in the mid jungle duo. He was the one leading APA. Sure, let me just finish the thought.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, he's the one that was leading APA, and without him, he's lost. Like APA, his hands fell off, and when he got his hands back, his brain, like he doesn't know where to be on the map. He's not. This Team Liquid team had world-class macro. You don't lose that overnight. Clearly something happened. You know what happened? Lane swap got removed, but that doesn't change the fact that they were still really good at macro even before that. They had Core JJ. The thing is, it is a mid-jungle, like, centric... Like, the mid and the jungle are the ones that control the game in this meta. Like, even Inspired, he's like, the junglers are the ones that are controlling it. And Core can't have the impact that he wants because he's not the jungler. And if it was Core, I'm pretty sure they would still be doing better. They brought in a rookie into Yuji, who was the worst jungler in the LCS, in the LTA. No shade to Yuji. Like, he's new. He should be in a position of learning, not leading. And when APA had to lead, guess what? He's like, I don't know how to do that. And we saw what we saw. Like, this is why the floor is so low. You take away one of that fundamental bricks, and things collapse.
The funny
What'd
thing
you have to
about
say?
that is, Spawn went on to say that and I'm kind of paraphrasing, kind of not, where he said, "I hope for some players, changing the jungler is now an eye-opening experience." So what he's basically saying is, some of you wanted a jungle change, and this is what you get. Which, tell me these players. Because, obviously, yes, like, the umpty stuff, like, he needed to, like, step away from this environment, absolutely. But I want to know what players were wanting to make this team fundamentally worse. I don't blame UG at all. I hope he gets another chance to split, next split, sorry, on Team Liquid. I think he's an exceptional talent that was for. I don't think any jungler really is going in and saving that ship, like, as a rookie, by the way. Not. And, like, I am looking at the two, like, I'm looking mainly at Core and Impact to step up and lead this team. Because, like, Yon's not going to do it. He's too quiet. Like, he isn't going to, like, vocalize what he wants. Like, as much as he can carry this team, and he was putting on exceptional performances just to make this team even half relevant. But I worry, and I know APA's mom, Stacy, I believe, watches our content. Thank you, like, so much. I am worried for the future of their solo laners. I will, like, openly admit that I don't know what direction they're going in, and especially with Quid on the market. I'm just so, and sorry, actually, I want to also go to a point I made at the very start of the year. I didn't think Spawn remote was going to work. And everyone was hyping up, like, oh, the Spawn Buffy comes in, Spawn's the greatest coach in, like, any history. I called it from the jump that Spawn was not going to work as a remote coach, and I've been proven right on that. Like, you need a coach that's consistently there to put your arm around players when time goes tough. No amount of webcams, as he, like, stated as well, like, in, like, interviews, like, he has, like, webcams and stuff, like, put around the facilities to make him feel like he's there. No amount of remote access is going to solve any problems, and I always equate, like, remote coaches to, like, supply teachers in, like, high school. It's like when your main teachers, I don't know what you call it in America, like substitute teachers.
Subs, yeah.
Yeah, like, as soon as the real teacher's gone out of the classroom, like the class is gonna misbehave. It pretty much, like, felt like that the second Spawn wasn't in the country, and even when Spawn came back, there was just unforeseen problems that he couldn't fix. And, like, if I need to make a prediction, I don't think he's going to be the head coach of Team Liquid next year. What I would do is I would move him to an upper management position where he can still, because I do think he has a good eye for facilitating new talent, and he has a good eye for how a team should be built. He consistently talks about, like, the 2-3 split, whether that's 3 young players and 2 veterans, or 2 young players and 3 veterans. And in TL's case, they had 2 veterans, 1.5 veteran, and 1 rookie. It's kind of a weird formula at the end, but changes are coming to that team. Like, they can't stick together as it is. And Spawn kind of alluded to that. He said some players are at, like, a crossroads. I don't like to speculate, but it kind of alludes to, I think, Core and Impact is like, do you still have a passion to play the game at a high level? Because they are coming towards the tail end of the career, and they have to make, like, their next decisions, basically.
I think it's Impact, and I'll tell you why. Impact at the beginning of the year did an interview with me, and he said, of course I'm thinking about retiring. As of right now, I'm winning everything, so I'm not really thinking about it. But, like, if we don't do well this year, that I probably will consider it.
Yeah.
He makes a public comment like that, and then his coach is like, some of us are at crossroads. It's like, okay, who else are you talking about? I don't think Core DJ is ready just yet. I thought Core and Yon, like, together as a bot lane, are still really good. I would keep Core DJ, but I just think that like you were saying, the remote coaching just didn't work out. There were problems that were that festered probably for a lot longer than if you had your coach on site and could like feel it, not just see it. I think one of the things that was kept happening, this is so frustrating, especially like end of split 1, beginning of split 2. Before that, I actually want to respond to what you were saying, how maybe some of the players wanted jungle changes. Is the jungler that got you very far, but not far enough to beat Asian teams. But at the same time, he was the floor that made it so that you guys were top 2 every single split you played. You remove the floor in order to get like higher upside. You didn't get higher upside, you get a much lower floor. And this goes back to like on the LTA Discord. Oh my God, so many people are like, oh, just get in UG. Why don't they pick up UG? UG's amazing. UG's amazing. I'm like, guys, we've seen it time and time again. These super rookies come in. It takes them time before they can actually become like this Team Liquid team is a win now team. You cannot just throw a rookie in and expect them to win now. TSM did it in 2018 when they brought in Mike Young. That was the first time in their history, in LCS history, that they didn't make finals. Like the number of times you make this mistake, like orgs have made this mistake of having a bunch of veterans and one rookie, and then it all collapses, and you're like, I wonder why it happens. It's like, what? Because it just doesn't work. So when you guys are just saying Yuji's an amazing player, sure, he's a great jungler. He's the worst one in LTA for good reason. It's not his fault, right? Like the team around him is not helping him develop, and while the rest of the places, they have more experience. Like Audieland has played his heart out. Like Audieland was really good. I know he went out like less than UG, but he played better. XU had like the series of his life just recently. Shaden was better than him, and Shaden was like just average. You know, Contracts, River, Inspired, Blabber, all these junglers are just like, what is he's facing against the strongest role in NA. Historically, jungle has been very difficult. So he came into a very difficult position with the expectation that he's going to be better than that he's going to get to the world stage and not choke like not throw like did. He can't even get them there. What are you talking about? And like, I know there were some Team Liquid fans that were like, guys, if we sign Yuji, it's going to be for next year. Like, it doesn't make sense. And like, there was some voice of reason. But most people who know anything about NECL were just like, oh my God, put in Yuji. Like, just get rid of Impact. Put in Zamudo or put in Surdy. Like, there's so much better players, and like they go up against them and they get destroyed. Like even Inspired was like, dude, the series against one of these was complete jungle. Like Yuji is invisible in these games. He doesn't know what to do. It's his first time playing in LCS. Like he doesn't know. So that like the fact that the players were thinking, oh, we should change jungle. If you think let's change jungle, you go get like a Way from BLG, or you get like an import jungle. You get someone with experience, someone with pedigree, someone with a backbone, with a spine, someone who can actually stand up and like lead the team. You don't get a rookie, right? Which Thorin made a really good point. He was like, why did you bring in Yuji? Why didn't you bring in like an import? You had an import slot. You already had an import like in Umti. You already have all of the Korean structure, right? You have 4 Korean speakers on your main roster. Or sorry, 3. The jungler that comes in would be 4. Your coach speaks Korean and Rain over. Dodo, your GM speaks Korean. Like you just have a lot of structure for Korean like facilities and stuff like that. And so like just do it. But they didn't. They chose Yuji. They still had to get him. He's an import. Like they had to get him a visa, which I mean, great for him. Again, I'm not harping on Yuji. It's like I don't think Yuji fit on the Team Liquid project, and we saw that.
It's just now the question is, what do you do? Because maybe it's too early to talk about roster changes. I definitely am of the opinion that Spawn will not be there as the head coach. I wouldn't chuck him away because I do think he's a valuable asset to North American League Legends, and I do think he has a good eye for roster building. I just think this iteration of TL didn't work out like down the stretch, and the problem they had is they lost confidence in how to win games. Like I think Dom said this perfectly, is that you'd see them so many times, and even in this FlyQuest series recently, they had leads and they were never able to close a single game out, which is surprising given I thought TL even with FlyQuest was the best macro team in the league. I thought TL were a better macro team than FlyQuest, but they just never could close out any of these games like later on in the year. And like Zven said it on it was Zven or Dom. One of the C9 people said TL were like consistently smashing us in scrims like at the start of the year, but by like mid to the end of the year, they never won a single game against us. Which will also lead down to a point later where it's like, well, why didn't you pick TL in your upper bracket series? But we'll get
the number of people that were saying
we'll get on
DSG are better than. Oh my god. But yeah, just to answer your question about like what does Team Liquid grow from there? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they just get rid of their solo laners and get a new coach. Like either at this point you promote Reignover. Like we know he's like the brains behind the operation. I think the reason they're not promoting Reignover is because he might not be the greatest at like people personing. But he's just extremely smart at the game.
When he was on C9, he did not want to be a coach. Like we had him as our head coach at the start of the
that's right. You guys ended up having
season, and then he decided to step down, and that's when Miffy took over. That's when we did like a carousel of like our assistant coaches becoming our coaches, but none of them actually were good enough to be head coaches.
Yeah, so you bring in like a more people person. Like I wouldn't. Yeah, you bring in someone who can work in like the dynamics. You keep. I don't know if Swiffer is like that person. I don't know if you move on from him, but you need to like look. If Spawn is not, you cannot guarantee Spawn is going to sign a 2-year contract and be like, hey, I'm going to be on this time for. He just has to. He has other priorities with his family. Complete respect to him, but like from Team Liquid's perspective, hey, if you're not going to be a coach, like on the ground, I think Yamato.
I think that's where being like someone in management for them, like their new like director of esports for the League of Legends program. I know Dodo has like a big influence in the team, but I definitely think that Spawn's probably your best guy. If you want to set up a League of Legends program, Spawn's one of your guys. Like he's got the discipline, he's got the drive, he's got the know-how. He's got like a really good idea for roster building, like I've alluded to multiple times. He really needs to step up into a new position, in my opinion. Maybe
I'm down to like promote him to.
Like it's at the end of the day, it's down to Spawn, down to Team Liquid. I don't know what that conversation is going to look like, but yeah, it's a bit doomed.
We actually have a question about like if you were the GM of Team Liquid. So let's keep that for later in the Q&A section.
I was actually going to say
we can.
I was actually going to talk about another topic, kind of like piggybacking on what David said in one of his videos recently. TL did not get to like exit the league or exit the split in front of any fans because they're in the closet. And I think it was Arsh maybe on Twitter said that the LTA, that the cost for playing in the closet is almost identical to the cost it is to run it on the main stage. My like question is, when does it become a point of preserving that funding to try and do a roadshow at the end of the split and just maximize the amount of games you could do by going online? I wanted to kind of get like, what would you be your like? Would you be in favor of the LCS going online, or do you still think this is what you kind of need now?
So last year, I'll get to your answer, but I'll give a little bit of context. Last year, when Mark Z was still doing his lives and like actually, interacting with the community, right? When LCS was on the up and up, before what happened, he actually said something. He said, "Look, our viewership is up. You're like now you're saying like how many of those viewers are from this or that," and he's like, "You're just moving the goalpost. Our priority was, can we get the viewership to increase? We did that." Then we can start moving into other things. Okay, can we get the North American one to increase? Can we get the European, right? Like, let's just focus on what the goal was. In 2023, I was championing And in 2024, hey, I don't want to see like but I don't want to see us on the weekends. Sorry. I don't want to see us on weekdays. I want to see
Oh,
us on weekends.
my camera
Weekends is so much better. Your
absolutely
camera just
shitting.
doesn't like what I'm saying. Yeah. Um, I'll get to a good point, I promise. I kept, like, a lot of people were championing, hey, the fact that we are on weekdays is horrible for the league. Please, can we be on weekends? And they did it. And the way that they were able to do it is they had to compromise and they had to say, okay, sometimes we won't have a crowd. Sometimes we're going to have to be in the closet. And that was the compromise. And we said, sure. And a year later, we're moving the goalposts and we're like, why are we in the closet? We already know why we're in the closet. I am of the opinion that as the ecosystem is right now, I'm okay with that. Just keep it on the weekends. Because I'll tell you what they're not going to do. Like in a hypothetical world, sure. But I'll tell you what they're not going to do. They're not going to give us more games if we go online. They just aren't. Because at the end of the day, you still have to pay the people. You still have to, like, I don't think they look at it from the sense of like, okay, you know, what if we take this budget and split it over doing all these? They just don't. They're like, oh, what if we can get rid of that and just like save them? What if we go online and then save ourselves like $10,000 a day and then don't add more days? Like that's what they have historically done. So I'm not willing to open the door and say, hey, let's go online so we can get more days of games because I don't think that's going to happen. I think what ends up happening if we go online is we're going to have Saturday, Sunday online instead of playing in the closet. And that budget is going to disappear. So for me, I'm okay. Like it sucks that we have to play in the closet, but I'd much rather play in the closet and play on the weekends and maybe have a little bit of a better format where we can get a few more games in, maybe add an extra week so we can get, you know, a little bit more games than going online and then all of a sudden not having any sort of weeks in the studio and then saying, oh, they're going to do a roadshow and then they do like a crappy roadshow for 2,000 people and then like they're like, oh, see, we gave you guys what you wanted. It's not working. League is dying. That's just my opinion.
My only problem with like remaining in the closet and like the current thing is it's progressively getting worse and worse in sense of the number of times we are in the closet versus VCT Americas. And I understand like the trajectory that Valorant is going in comparison to North American League Legends. But at some point you have to strip it back. Like I know Riot historically will make the worst decision out of a decision that can be great, i.e. these formats. Like we have 3 splits, great. What are these formats? Like, my fear is like, yes, we keep it as it is now, but these formats aren't going to improve next year. I think we're still going to get something that we're going to be begging in 2027. Can we get a different format? Because I don't have faith that they're going to, like, yes, in the LEC they've admitted that their summer split format sucks. Are Riot and A going to do that? I don't think Moxie is going to be like, hey, we dropped the ball on this format. I truly don't. Because like when I see him combining Brazilian numbers to make it look like the viewership numbers are great, do you really think they're gonna admit like defeat on like formats to an extent of we are gonna drastically change how these things work? Because across the board is like tragic, and I think it's like Karen was mentioned. Imagine like if that was like your last game of your career, you're in an empty closet where they were pumping in fan noise.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, I did not see the YouTube chat.
I will say this. I think one of the things that I don't necessarily agree with, and I've made a whole video on my channel about this, I don't agree with the idea that you should change the format in order to increase or decrease viewership. Obviously to increase. Like I think there's some correlation between format and viewership, but I think the majority, like the main reason of format should be like ease of understanding. It should be competitive integrity. It should be like the fun that like it should not be how many people are going to watch. It shouldn't be, oh, viewership is down, let's change the format. I just don't. I know that Riot really does think that way. Every single thing they do, except marketing, right? Every single thing they do is this going to increase the viewership? Is this going to increase viewership? Is this going to increase viewership because we're dying? Except for the one thing that will actually increase their viewership, which is marketing. I don't know how it works. I don't know why. They were doing it in 2024. It was working. All of a sudden, they're like, hey, we found something that works. Let's try to find something else. And whatever. I think with that in mind, they will likely change the format for 2026.
Oh, definitely.
Because they're like, oh, we need a better format because the viewership dropped because of the format. And they're going to blame the format. And like, sure, the format is to blame, but is it to blame for like, how much of the format drop, of the viewership drop? Like 10% of it? What about the other 90% of the drop? Like, I would argue that the rebrand was a huge, like the rebrand, you're like, okay, whatever, it's going to take a few years before we get back to where we were. Well, besides the rebrand, like the fact that you didn't market very well, right? You took all of your marketing efforts in 2024 and only kept like one or two of those things. And all the other stuff like kind of died out. And then you saw a drop instead of an increase, and you're like, I wonder why. So I try to put myself in Riot's shoes because of like, I mean, I've been watching them since LCS started, right?
Same,
and I kind of know how they do things, and I just don't believe that if we give them, if we're like, take us online, that they will go online and do it in a way where we're like, that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted 4 days of gameplay with like double round robin best of threes into a Swiss stage format where you have like 8 teams, double elim with like the best teams. Like we see C9 versus like Team Liquid and 100 Thieves and like all these like really cool matchups. I don't think that ends up happening. So I'd rather, I mean, the question that David Shynock put in chat, actually, I'm going to have to sit down and think about it. But at this point, is it even worth it being in front of the audience? Is it even worth it being in front of the crowd? And the question might be, the answer like might be no. Maybe you do go online for 3 weeks and like once a month you do a small roadshow.
Here's what the one thing I learned from this year is that I never want to see regular seasons ever again. I think tournament format, and I think Call of Duty construct this like very well. I don't Riot is not going to do this. Obviously, it is wishful thinking. But I wish we had weekly tournaments that played toward, like, if you had like 7 weekly tournaments that played, like, you did it towards like a league structure in the sense of you had points for every performance, like however you perform in like these tournaments. So let's just say it's like quarterfinals, right? Like, you get knocked out in quarterfinals, you get 1 point. Like, semifinals 2, grand finals, you win it, 3 points. Kind of like how you do in soccer, in some senses, just adding an extra point in there. But why, like, I do not want to see regular seasons anymore, especially if they're going to format them in such a way that you don't even get to see... Because, like, how many times did our teams actually play in a regular season game this year?
A regular season game, we had one.
We had one
best of
one best of one,
and then two best of fives.
Why have we played
but
more
again,
best of fives
our teams,
against you?
Our teams have both made it to top 3, both splits. Or I guess you guys haven't made top 3 yet, but like we went very far, right? If you look at Lions, for example, like how many times did Lions play Cloud9? Like just one. One best of 1, one best of 3.
Yeah. No, we played them at the start. We played 2 best of 3s because they were in our group.
Oh, you played in split 1. Okay.
We played in split 1, and then we
Dig,
had like
for example.
we had the Vulcan like funeral series where he literally just
landed. Oh,
landed.
that's right. Oh yeah, you guys were in the same group, but like the point stands, where it's like you don't really see these matchups very often.
And you could literally format it in a way so that you see every single matchup, in a split. And like if you did this for free, obviously like time constraints because you have to shorten the split for MSI and for First Stand and Worlds. But it leads me on to my next thing. Can we please separate Valorant and League of Legends? Because I genuinely feel that the the combining of the two is hurting both leagues more than it actually is necessary.
You know what I don't understand? League of Legends is still a bigger game globally. Maybe in North America, Valorant viewership is better. I don't know that that's a fact, but
Oh,
League is
it's
still a better
100% a
game than
fact.
Val.
Yeah.
Why are we prioritizing Valorant over League of Legends? Why is the incumbent just being kicked into the closet? I know Val had a few days where they were in the closet, but like, if anything, Valorant should be the one complaining, "Hey, can we get our own studio?"
Do you know what it
What,
is?
like,
And I'll tell you why it
what?
is. Because Riot have realized the problem. They fucked up with LCS so bad that they feel like this is an opportunity to do like a new franchise league from fresh. And even
Maybe,
then,
but like,
you're already
why?
starting to get complaints on the Valorant side.
Basically, you're like, oh, we have a golden goose. It's not giving eggs as often. Instead of feeding it the things that would make it lay eggs, they're like, oh, we'll just let it die and try to get another one. Like, just I don't know. Like, I don't know. I really don't know. To your format like point, I would. I'll be honest. I'm so open to formats at this point because I just think that the way that they structure their formats, like with the goals in mind, you want competitiveness, you want this, the fact that you're adding viewership onto that as a main metric just makes it very difficult to like actually have viewership, in my opinion. And so like I would be down for a format like that. I'm in general, I'm open to formats. I even said to this format before, I was like, I don't understand it. That's the only reason I'm against it. But now that I'm in it, okay, yeah, I really don't like
I
it.
just
Just give
don't
us
want
like
to see
Swiss.
regular
That would be
seasons anymore
better.
because they're progressively getting worse. We've exercised every single regular season like physically possible. You've done the group stage. You've done the cross like split league format where results carry over. Like you've done like the kickoff style event, which is still one of my favorites to this day. Like how you formatted that, how are we formatting kickoff better than fucking LTA? I really don't know. I'm so tired of seeing regular seasons.
I don't agree with you there. I'm fine. Just like give us something that we understand and like please market the league. Like for me, the hill that I will die on is like, can we just take some budget? Like can just uh who's someone higher up that probably has some money to spare? Uh
Do you know what's a damning
and Mark
statement
Merrill,
about?
Tryndamere, just like
Do you know
take a
what's a
little bit of
damning
money
statement
and
about the state of like the formats? I
what?
miss best of ones. I miss the double round robin best of ones over this shit. I would take
Okay, let's look at split two. Let's look at split two. Split two was a like it was a single round robin, best of one
best of
into
one.
the group stage. Yeah, best of one into group stage. Wait, didn't they change and decide to make it best of threes instead? No, that was I'm thinking of last year. Never mind. Yeah, it was a single round. It was supposed to be a double round robin best of one. They were like, no, we're gonna make a change. Single round robin into like the group stage with the best of threes into a double round into a double elim best of five. Would you take that format over like
I'll do that. I'll
just a
take that.
singular
I would take
double?
that format every split.
No,
Just
no,
do that every split.
yeah, I would take that every split as well. Obviously, we can't do it split one because it's too short. But like, what I'm saying is like, at this point, I'm not even asking for a great format. Just give me something that I can like attach to, so that we
Do
can stop changing it and focus on the things that need to be focused on.
do like the splits need to all like they need to flow together. So split one needs to be like a watered down version of what like split two is like your bulk, like where you want to flesh out everything because you have like the time. And then split three should be a continuation. It should be another version of that. I never want to see pick and play ever again.
You want to know what's funny?
Mm-hmm.
The finalists of last split in Cloud9 and FlyQuest there's a good chance we don't see that matchup ever in Split 3. There is like a legitimate chance.
It's really
We'll talk
funny.
about Cloud9. Like it's coming up. It's coming up. We're gonna talk about Cloud9. There's a legitimate chance we just don't get to see them play. When in the past, when you had finalists, that was the first week of matchups. You always put the hype. Like we're not even gonna get that matchup. Come on.
Like, sorry, I completely found like, it's actually not like a unrealistic thing, like you said. It's crazy, considering how hype their best of fives were last split, and like we were building to
They were
like
some of the best.
they were some of
Yeah.
the best of fives we've seen in this league, and now like we were
In the
preparing,
2020s, for sure.
we
Yeah.
were preparing like this big like ultimate ending between C9 and Fly, and then to C9's fault, they may not get it. Shall we move on to why they may not get it?
We can talk about C9 versus Dig, C9 versus DSG first, because that
Oh,
that did
man.
happen, right? Should I let you go first, or should I just go in? I think I'll go in first. You guys are so soft. You guys are so soft. You don't even get punched. You get tickled, and you're like, "Oh, we can't play the game." Oh my god, I'm down 10 CS instead of up 30 CS like I normally do in scrims, and you can't play the game. It takes monumental throws from DSG. Well, first of all, you guys picked us over Team Liquid. Legitimately, this was public in interviews. People were calling Team Liquid and Dig the worst two teams. I asked Palafox, I'm like, you guys got picked. He was like, I'm very confused because Team Liquid, like from scrims, DSG are just better than Team Liquid. So like, I don't know what's going on. Like Team Liquid was legitimately bad. You pick Shopify, you lose to them. You pick DSG, you almost instead of Team Liquid again, and you almost lose to them. Like
the Shopify one is understandable. You cannot tell me not pick DSG. Though, come on, look at their look at the two rosters, and I know you shouldn't always pick on paper.
You scrimmed Team Liquid. You were talking about how you guys were destroying them every single scrim.
We destroy everyone. Going into the DSG series, we 5-0'd FlyQuest, and then they bitched about it in an interview.
Okay, that's that. To your defense, you don't know who's good and who's bad because you guys beat everyone. Okay,
if we're 6-0 with everyone, the Cloud, how could we tell who's good? This is 2020 all over again.
You guys are so soft. I swear. If DSG doesn't start that Otacon game 1, you guys lose 3-1. Like it was that close. Game 5, you guys had such a better draft and you were losing. You guys were running it down the first 20 minutes, 15 minutes. And it wasn't until like a Herculean effort from Loki that he's just like, I'm going to carry this team because my top laner is getting solo killed by who? By Castle? Like, he got solo killed by Fudge. He's got solo killed by Castle. This guy is your MVP? I thought before this started, like after the first 3 weeks of play, Thanatos is the MVP because he's the most valuable player on Cloud9. And like, there's basically Busio and Inspired take away votes from each other on FlyQuest. So I thought it was Thanatos. This guy he's just a choker. He can't play under pressure. What is going on? The DSG?
He also played well. Like he's been up and down this playoffs. I'm not gonna call him a choker. Like there's multiple like I'm ready to call other player chokers before Thanatos.
Like, he got solo killed as Gnar into Aatrox, a matchup that he picked. He got solo killed by Castle twice. Like, this guy was supposed to be like the second coming of Summit. This guy was hailed like he wins every single lane. He carries
he's
everybody.
Following in the Summit of footsteps. We're bombing out of playoffs.
That is true. Look, he's choking compared to how he normally plays. He had a great game on Rek'Sai, don't get me wrong. But the fact that he is so inconsistent, whereas Loki, the rookie of the team, is the one that's like consistent. Zven is inconsistent as well.
No player is playing well outside of Loki this entire playoffs.
Vulcan. I think Vulcan's playing pretty well. I think it's Vulcan and Loki that are like the reason you guys haven't been eliminated.
And the problem, like, Thanos was to play like well for us, like even at last playoffs. I'm not like things are not going great. Like, it's evident, like, stuff is clearly not okay. I think they clearly know what, like, okay. The good foundation that they have is that they always start. It's the reverse Shopify where they always start strong, and they like. And I expect in this series to start strong as well. It would not surprise me if we're up 2-0 in the series, and then some crazy stuff starts happening. And the thing is, I just don't think either we are going into these series just expecting to steamroll, or like we're not playing, but it's at the same time we're not playing with the same confidence that we normally do. And I don't know why that is, because we are normally an aggressive team. Like our objective setup this playoffs has been atrocious, right? It's probably been one of the worst out of any team in playoffs. But there's a lot riding on this, not just for like some of these players. I'm not gonna say who, but as an organization as well, because Valorant, you just choked out of playoffs again. Like Call of Duty,
Wait, I thought they were doing the NRG run.
they came within 2 rounds of winning like the series that would have qualified them to champions. They were in the ascendancy and they choked it.
Oh.
Like, it was a heartbreak. And the thing is, that team is weird. Like, it was a team of like misfits. It's kind of literally like an NRG. Like, team of misfits would always do well in regular season, but then immediately lose in playoffs and then get eliminated. But this year, or this split, they actually did the run instead of choking, and then choked at the final round.
Choked at the end, yeah. It's like, gotta make sure there's a little bit of choking, you know?
Like, the Call of Duty team expected like top 5 out of like the of 11, 12 teams, finished practically dead last. It has been if we don't make it to Worlds, this has been a terrible year for this organization. And I already tweeted this out. Conversations need to start happening if we don't make it to Worlds about management of this org. Because I can take not winning, like the split. That's fine. FlyQuest are an incredible team. I can't take not making it to Worlds over the current crop of teams that we have. Like, that is unacceptable for this organization, who has historically always been there. Like, I don't think our record exists anymore because T1 have consistently made it, but we at once hold the record for the most appearances at Worlds. We had more than SKT, ironically, and they had won like 3 World Championships at that point.
You went 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. You went 7. Wait, is this 7? Yeah, you went 7 years in a row.
And then we went 2021.
And then you went 21, 22, 23. And then no fudge, no Worlds, baby.
Don't. I will always defend David with the green wall.
Green wall, baby.
I've lost your fudge point absolutely threw me off there.
I will say, before touching a little bit more on Cloud9, because we do have predictions to make, DSG played really well. DSG are on the up and up, and you can tell that the roster changes that they made, unlike Team Liquid, worked. They really found their groove, and like I said, people were saying DSG are better than Team Liquid. I actually completely agree. DSG are better than Team Liquid, and they might just be like the 5th best team, you know? It's unlucky that, you know, they kind of took a while for them to find this roster, and then they had a tough like schedule as well. But overall, I was very, very happy with the way things have been going with DSG. I'm very happy for Castle, and I think this gives them a very good opportunity for them to not get relegated, until I saw the news earlier today that apparently Dignitas transferred Keine to a team that's going to be playing in promotions. ISG, I think it's called.
Isurus.
Isurus, yeah. So like, here's the thing. We found out later that the announcement came late, but basically like the transfer probably happened like a day or two after they got eliminated. No hate to Dig. I've like hated on Dignitas for many things. This is one of the ones where I'm like, good job. You were probably gonna get rid of him anyways, knowing you guys, right? Like you made some cash. You got some cash, right? You probably had to pay buyout. I don't know how much it is, but it's more than zero. Great job. The fact that Riot had the transfer window not end before eliminations, like one day before eliminations, is really weird to me. The fact that it was like a couple days after elimination, that's just weird. That's like seems like a gross oversight. I trust Riot's gonna fix it. I think this is the first time that they're really doing this kind of promotion relegation. But at the end of the day, like, yeah, it's kind of on them.
I just think it's so gross that a team that DSG could have done it, but one, it would have
I don't think they could.
Well, they could have if they would
have.
Well, they could have in the sense that it would have ruined relationships if they decided even while they were playing in like playoffs that they're gonna make a roster change, like, or bring in someone in preparation for the promotion tournament. Like, it's just disgusting that NACL teams are not allowed to make any roster changes, and like, to be fair, rightly so. I don't think that any team should be able to make roster changes that late into a season, especially when you have promotion into a franchise league on the line. Fair play to Isurus. They're making the most of what is a really stupid decision by Riot, and it only feels this way in North America. Like, it always feels like whatever decision like is made, Riot knows how to do the dumbest scenario in which this plays out.
In their defense, I don't think this is the dumbest. I think it could have been a little dumber, but they tend to mess up with a lot of things. I agree. I think it's also part of like who's running this stuff. If it's the same people running it and same people making the same mistakes over, or like different mistakes over and over, like maybe we should look to hire someone with more experience to lead the project. I don't know. I'm just saying. But we can go back to C9. I just had to point that out. That like DSG played well, and I feel it's unfair to DSG that one of their opponents in LTA is now representing a team in NACL, like, or not NACL, in the promotions. Like, it's just weird. It shouldn't, in my opinion, happen. But
yeah,
hopefully it gets fixed. Moving on to like the Cloud9 versus. I actually wanted to talk about the players a little bit because we talk. I've been saying, hey, what's going on with Zven? And I just want to put this publicly. Zven is an incredible player. He is one of the most decorated players. Like, we talk about Doublelift as being amazing. Zven has won more than Doublelift, or at least the same amount of championships, because he won 4 in EU, regardless of how many championships he won, right? He won in multiple roles. Zven last split was the best player in playoffs. Like, if there was a player of the playoffs award, it would go to Zven, even though he lost. He is someone who, in the twilight of his career, this guy started professionally in 2015. Mm-hmm. It is 2025, and he is saying things like, I have never wanted to play League of Legends more in my life. I am so motivated. I am so ready to play games. This is like the stuff that we saw from Faker. I'm not saying he's just as good as Faker, but I'm saying like that arc where like he had some years were a little bit rough. He was on Dignitas, like no one picked him up for a split. And then like he's back to where he is because of the amount of dedication that he goes to. And then after such a close series where like he goes on a podcast and he's always down to do content. And then afterwards he's streaming. And like I was in his stream and like it's just constantly, he's so chill with his chat. And they're constantly like asking him questions about matchups, about how he felt, and he's just answering and like just being a genuinely cool guy. Just like from personality to gameplay to the type of like leader that he can be and the type of leader that he has shown in the past of like telling his team, hey, this is what we need to do. I know he's not the shot caller, but in the day, like he is the veteran of this team. He is the one who like makes a lot of the clutch plays that we saw from Cloud9 that got them 2-1 up against FlyQuest. He's really a very solid player. I know he's not having the best series, but I mean, this guy is like such a gem that I'm really happy he's on Cloud9. And I don't want Cloud9 to look at it and be like, oh, already Carry sucks. Let's try to find like another Berserk. Like, I think this guy is phenomenal, and whatever project that he touches does better than it should. Even that Dignitas teams did better than it should have. The fact that he won on support, like you guys had to pick him up and he found a role, like he is a very clutch player. He's an incredible player. And I just want people to like, because I saw people saying like, oh, Zven sucks, he should be left. No, this guy is a generational player. If this guy leaves to EU or if he there aren't that many replacements for Zven. Especially, I don't know Masu's ever going to turn into Sven. He might have higher peaks, which I don't think so. Sven, when he came in as a rookie, was just as hyped as Masu, if not more. To be honest, like you look at 2015 OG Neil's highlights. That guy was cracked. Made it top 4 of Worlds his first split playing. So like, I don't know if Masu's going to have a career like Sven, but this guy is just a huge wealth of experience that I really wish that more people would like acknowledge. Hey, he had a couple bad series. But at the end of the day, this guy is someone to really be sought. He's to be sought after. Besides that, you guys should be scared against 100 Thieves, because if you guys play like you guys played against DSG, you guys are going home fast.
I mean, it's just a coin flip at this stage. It's what C9 wants to show up. And like, this is gonna piss a lot of people off, but I genuinely believe this playoffs has all been decided by us. We've decided who won that Shopify series. We decided that we almost wanted to go home to fucking Disguised. Like, imagine, like, the team that couldn't win all year then beats us finalists, but we were one play away from beating FlyQuest and going to MSI ourselves. We will decide this series. If we show up how I know we can play, and this team knows they can play, and they've been trying to address that since this slump has happened, I think we'll win comfortably. But if 100 Thieves rattles us for even a second, then that's when it starts getting murky, and that's when history can repeat itself. I don't even want to think about losing. I don't know where we go. I know where people will want us to go. They will want Blabber gone. They will want Zven gone. I can deal more with Zven going than Blabber, ironically.
I agree. I think Blabber's the franchise player.
Not even that. I think it's so hard to replace him without changing your entire dynamic, because there isn't a single NA resident jungler I'd pick up. I'm sorry, not even contracts. I wouldn't pick him up over him. You'd have to, like, if you're keep, and they want like what's been said.
You said, I don't know where we go from here, and he said, home. You go home.
I may have to repeat that promise I made. If we get 3-0'd by 100 Thieves, David can take my spot for a week.
3-0. So the first time it was if we lose. Now it's if we get 3-0.
Well, I said if we lose to DSG. DSG! I didn't think we'd lose a game.
That's true.
DSG is a team you could show up without no coaches and just play as 5 players, and I think you should win. If FlyQuest turned up against DSG, just the 5 players, I think they would win. 3-0, right?
In DSG's defense, I think they actually got a lot better.
So do I. But I still think the quality of FlyQuest, or like a Shopify, would still win that series. It may not be as comfortable for you guys, but I still think you would win. How... Like, yeah. Anyway, like, back to, like, the thing. What do you mean goalpost shifted? What goalpost? I'm trying to get you on here instead of me. Like, I'm not asking for anything in return. Like, there's nothing from that org I'll take, apart from a hoodie, maybe.
Martin, you guys are in a very precarious situation. The reason I started off with saying Cloud9 is soft is because the one team that knows how to throw the most randomest of jabs and hooks and like uppercuts is this 100 Thieves team. This is the team that is really good at rattling you, and unless you have very solid foundations, you're gonna lose.
Look,
And we used to think, hey, Cloud9 had the solid foundations. We have nothing to worry about. You guys are so soft.
like I said, it depends on us. If Phantos wants to return to form, if Blavo wants to stop getting hyphy and start like just controlling himself a bit more. If Zven wants to turn back to being I don't need him to be at his best. I just need him to be stable. Because their bot lane's not doing anything.
Just don't lose every lane and get solo killed multiple times, yeah.
I mean, if he gets solo killed by FBI and Layla, then yeah, he does need to pack it up.
I guess it's not that bad that he got solo killed by B-Voy, considering B-Voy is playing like the, like a top 380
I mean,
carry.
that dude's playing out of his mind.
He is. He's actually like, he really wants to go to Worlds, man. So what's your like official prediction? Because I know you're like, if we show up, we could 3-0. If we don't show up, we could 0-3. But like, what's the official like Marn of the LTA report prediction?
3-0.
To who?
It's not gonna be the fucking 100
gotta
feet.
say it.
Relax. No, it's not gonna be a ton.
You gotta say it.
If we lose
I actually
a game,
think
like,
that
I will say, I think if we lose a game, we could lose this series. That sounds like that is.
What
the
if
most
it's just
obvious.
draft gap?
I mean, if the 100 Thieves.
I mean, apparently, Inero just like loses drafts 3 and 4 all the time.
I'll wait until after the split to talk about that.
Oh, David has 3-200 Thieves. Really? I think it's 3-100 Thieves. I think like C9 win the first game, and then that's probably all they take. I just think C9's too soft. Like, I think if C9 wasn't soft, if they had a little bit more clutch, they'd probably win like 3-1. They'd probably win 3-0. I would agree with you.
It depends.
I think they're genuinely better players. But
this is where I have confidence, because the series depends on us. It's not 100 Thieves dictating the tempo. It's not them.
It does depend on you, but you haven't showed up. You haven't showed up in like
we've showed up for half a series each time. We have to just close the shit out. We should have genuinely, we should have 3-0'd you. And it's if buts and maybes, but we should have 3-0'd you. We should have 3-0'd DSG. And
game 3 you guys got stomped by us. I don't know about 3-0. Maybe 3-1, sure, but game 3 you guys got stomped.
Sure, but it's like confidence thing. Like, we end that game a clean 2-0, again, after the first game. May have been a different story.
What you're saying, yeah.
And then we will start hot. It's a question of, can we continue it, or okay. Let's play a little bit of hypothetical. What does C9 do if they lose?
But before that, I don't want to lose my train of thought. My heart is bleeding for Cloud9. I want Cloud9 to win. I want it to be a 3-0 for Cloud9, or a 3-1 for Cloud9. But my brain just says no, it has to be a 3-1. So I just wanted to make sure that I got that out. What does Cloud9 do if they lose here? I mean, as someone who comes from the traditional sports side, the first thing I look at is these players need someone to I might be okay. I would be okay with them not making any changes except in the coaching staff. Maybe bring in Dom full time. Maybe bring in a sports psych. Maybe bring in someone like a Spawn to work part time. Maybe I would see that. Maybe even pick up Golden Glue. Maybe he's a really good people guy. I don't know. I would prefer Golden Glue somewhere else. But maybe bring in Yamato. I don't know what you do, but
personalities, personally, in my opinion, not just yet. I think he's too young.
He's played with them.
Not just yet. I don't
think
Golden Glue's ready.
That's the other thing.
Because he has Only one of us
For
is
those
going up.
who don't know what's going on, it's David's just like every time Martin says, "Where do we go from here?" David's just like, "Go home, go home. We've established this." And Martin just gets like stun locked by it. He's like, "What the hell?" He's getting tilted.
It's fine. We'll be returning next split. David will be in different colors next split. That's the difference between us two.
Or he might be in no colors. Who knows? Um, but yeah, I the first thing I look at is like, okay, something has to go with the coaching staff because like if the players choke that much, maybe it's just on the players. But like, I don't know. I would look to do something with coaching first. I just don't know. I just don't know.
David, your team,
This
like
event
your
is hilarious.
organization, is the dad that goes out for like goes to the shop and then doesn't come back.
Goes for milk.
Yeah,
I can so imagine this Nate shot as like, "Welcome to the Rocket Mortgage, facility. Let me just go get some milk." And then announcement was like, "We're out of the league. If you want to be fans, be Cloud9 fans," from their president. Like,
100 Thieves fans can never live that down. By the way, no matter if they free us, your VI, like your VP, is telling your fans to go support us. And I would rather be in my position. It's fine. We'll be back. We go again.
all right, you want to get into the questions? I think we have a few this week.
We answered one of them, and that was the NACO one, so we're gonna have to go for that again. But we can't.
Yeah,
the
you're right.
the TLGM one.
Okay, yeah. So, Dr. Leo Spaceman DDS, aka Carolyn, asks, if you were GM for Team Liquid, what changes would you make this offseason? You want to go first? Because I think you kind of already started, and then maybe I can go after. What would you like if you're Dodo right now? Like, obviously, right now is the time that you'd be thinking, because I know like contracts only open up afterwards, but you surely you're already looking at this point.
I'd probably change top and mid because I don't think the rest. I thought UG played fine. Like there was some glimpses of like really good moments, but I don't think it was really his fault. I think the solo lane, I think the solo laners is where you look at. Like if you're, like, I like import is so hard to like say because you don't know who's going to be available next year. But if we're like strictly speaking, like what's available in the LTA right now, then you'd probably go Suddy and Quid.
Okay, I would go very differently. First, like to talk about the coach change, I would try to see if Yamato is interested because he actually like almost, I think he technically signed with Team Liquid in 2020, but then COVID happened. Um, but like clearly there are connections. He's also expressed that he is willing to go back, maybe in like a assistant coach. But like I feel like he's the people person that maybe Team Liquid would really need. And they, like I said, they already have a strategic mind in Reignover. I would, in terms of top lane, I would actually just pick up Castle. Like he's Korean, he that speaks English. He fits a lot of the stuff that like you guys tend to look for. He's really good, and I think he has more experience than Surdy. And I think Team Liquid is like one of those teams that it's very difficult to run a 2-year project because unless you're Spawn, I don't actually trust you to run a 2-year project. You're just gonna like get rid of the roster or make changes like Team Liquid have passed. I'm very proud of Team Liquid, very happy. I'm no longer a Team Liquid hater because they actually kept their roster. In terms of mid, yeah, you just pick up Quid. I think if you're picking up Quid, you owe it to Quid, Yon, and Core JJ that you don't go Surdy and UG, like two rookies that know nothing. You owe it to them to give them the best possible shot at like making worlds.
You'd probably have to go like. I like the castle idea. It's just we don't know what his situation is going to be if he wants to go like when his military is due. If he like
Oh, Castle's super young. He still has a lot of time.
right, I'd probably let you go castle. Uh, The only problem you'd have is then you'd have to swap out jungler because Castle's not
Why?
because Castle's an import, right? And Yuji's an import,
But I
and then
mean,
Quid. You can't have
but
free.
that's your 2. Oh, Quid! I forgot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, then I don't know. Pick up someone else in jungle. Like I would get rid of UG. Like you owe it. I really think you just owe it to the player, to like Core JJ. He doesn't have like another 10 years of gameplay. Maybe he does. Who knows? But I think when you have like franchise players like that, you go for it.
I think this kind of links to what C9 could do. I think if you're Blabber, and I think Blabber's a one team like career, by the way. Like I think
Me too.
but I think that Team Liquid lineup would be the only thing that would probably make him change, if a change like is necessary. Because I think if C9 change, I think Blabber retires. But I think that roster would be like a good like, okay, let's go try something new.
Blabber with Core JJ. Oh my god, this team would be like. I mean, I probably favorites at that point. That would be a dangerous combination. As a Shopify fan, I don't want to see that combo.
I think like I think people like heavily underrating him, even though he's yes, he has had some
I agree.
interesting moments. He's still the second best jungler in the league.
I know, like people are like, if you're not the best, then
Contracts is
just get rid of it. It's like that's not how it works.
If you ever watch sports, there is something called like a bogey team. Contracts is just a bogey player for Blabber. That's it. Like that doesn't mean he's better than him. He will never be better than him. It just means that in that particular series, he finds ways to beat him. That's it. That doesn't mean and I even said it earlier, I wouldn't pick up contracts of him.
I mean, I wouldn't pick him up over Blabber, but if you want to get rid of Blabber, then I think he's like a good jungler to pick up. But I agree. I think Contracts has been solidly like the 3rd best jungler right now. Maybe 4th now that River's playing a little bit better, but I like Contracts is up and down, but I thought he was more up than down.
Next year, so it doesn't even like.
No, I just mean like for this split, yeah. The next question is from Griffin Station. Thank you guys, by the way, for always putting in the questions. It's really helpful. It also helps us like kind of frame or like stay away from certain topics or frame it differently so that we can answer these questions. What do you think the discussion around LTA North's current gameplay struggles? Gameplay from most teams outside of DSG, 100T, and arguably Shopify look quite a step below what they were in Split 2. Can it all be chalked up to different format, or is there something else making the teams play worse? I mean, I don't know what Cloud9's doing. I thought the first 3 weeks they looked fine in terms of FlyQuest. I do think there are cracks. I think it's just the natural like up and down of teams. Even Gen G has their ups and downs. T1 has their ups and downs. Hama Life was the best team in the world in March, and now they're like the 3rd best team in Korea, maybe 4th. Like who knows? I think it's just a natural up and down. I think Dignitas is just horribly managed. The environment is horribly toxic, or not horribly toxic, but like the environment isn't great for improvement. Let's put it that way. And that's why I'm not surprised that Dig aren't doing that great. They're probably the worst team in the LTA, but I don't think that it's strange. I think if you look throughout most splits, most years, there are teams that end up doing better. There are teams that end up doing worse than they did the previous split. I think it's just the nature, like the map didn't change between split 2 and 3, but like the picks that go on the map, like the champions changed a little bit. I just think it's normal oscillation. I don't know what you think though, Martin.
Yeah, I think it's down to C9 has fallen off quite drastically for reasons not yet like known really. I mean, like we had that silly altercation online about like one of the problems, but I'm not even gonna look into that. I think they're just not.
That's
Sorry, gun.
No, I was gonna make a completely different comment, but then I realized that it could also connect, so I'm not gonna say anything.
Right, yeah, I think it just doesn't look like they're playing with like the same confidence that they have. I think their drafting's been horrible, and I'm hoping it's like another week of preparing in this meta that you can like figure it out. Yeah, that's about it for like why I think Team Focus as well is just I don't think the splitting time is probably helping them. It's hard to say. Like I know them and C9 had that like back and forth on scrims and scrim culture and all that shit, but I think it's just I'm not even looking at that. It's so silly between
Yeah,
both parties. It's just silly.
not just that, but like the amount of games that FlyQuest have really played the split. I just think we don't play enough games that maybe our form slacks a little bit because we're not constantly challenged. That might be part of it as well. It could be like this split is uniquely very different. And like if you think of Dignitas, like they had to play all the top 3 teams. No, they played the top 3 teams. Or like they played top 4 teams. Like all the bottom teams didn't get a chance to play against each other and like maybe improve a little bit from that. They had less weeks, like 3 weeks, and then the week after was elimination, or I guess technically it was the top. Like 2 weeks after, you were playing for your life. So that could be part of it as well. The next question is from Beans. He was talking about the just how unfair it is that NACL cannot sign players because they're roster locked, but then a promotion relegation team can like another team can sign, Isurus can sign, but then like what is going on with the roster lock? I think we covered that, but yes, it's not fair. I think they really need to look at when the roster lock is done so that situations like these, like imagine if this was Cloud9, like just hypothetically speaking, maybe not Cloud. Imagine if it was Lion. Imagine if like Isurus just decide to sign Audiland, like one of the greatest, like a 10-time champion who got to compete in LTA, had an unlucky split because of format, choked one game maybe, or like maybe they didn't choke. Like 100 Thieves played genuinely well, and then all of a sudden he's like playing promotion relegation against teams that he didn't like. It's ridiculous.
I will.
But yeah, I talked about it.
Just to do a different point because we've already covered the NOC thing. It's crazy to me that Riot just automatically assumes that the team that's in the promo relegation like slot for LTA is just going to be a bottom team. Because I like David pointed it out that DSG, if they would have made the run, would have been playing the same like weekend, like in Texas, the same weekend that they're doing the NACL promotion tournament. Like imagine you're fighting for Worlds,
I got a really good one for this.
Week, and then the next day you're facing some fucking NACL team for a spot in the league.
I got a really good one for this.
Yeah.
We have a saying, do not attribute malice to what can be attributed to incompetence. I genuinely believe they didn't understand how the format works. Because the way the format works, DSG doesn't just play one like best of 5, and if they win, they win. They play 3 best of 5s. It's a gauntlet, or it's like a bracket. I genuinely believe whoever was like making these rules looked at it and was like, okay, DSG's playing. Like if they do end up playing, they're gonna play in October. Okay, finals is September, no problem. I don't think they realized that DSG doesn't only play that last best of 5. They actually start earlier. That's my guess. Maybe I'm wrong, but like, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a little bit of ignorance.
I just thinking about it. We're not going to be able to do a podcast before FCA finals for this split. So, did we want to do like very quick predictions? How we think the next 3 series is going to play out?
Oh, you're right, because it's going to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right?
Yeah.
We could try to do something on Saturday if you're down, if you're available. But we can worry about that. We can do predictions right now. I think for me, I'm gonna say 100 Thieves 3-1. I'm gonna say Shopify 3-1, and I'm gonna say Shopify 3-2.
I ain't gonna do serious score just because it's so hard to predict from day to day, like how the team's gonna be. But I will say, I think we're gonna beat 100 Thieves, and I think we will beat you because we will finally have that like groove back. Obviously, I think if 100 Thieves win, I think you're going to finals because I think you're gonna smash them. Um, because I don't think like their series win would be like indicative of who they are as a team. Like it sounds like I hate saying that because that sounds like such a so. I genuinely believe we are the dictators of our own fate. Like this
I
is
agree.
like I feel like it just sounds like stupid. I hate like this sounds stupid, but I feel like if we wanted to, we could be in finals. If we wanted to, it's like guys, do you want to be in finals? Like please, because I know the fans do.
That's
I,
funny.
God forbid Twitter if we go out. By the way, I
Yeah, even Poppy is like, if we lose to 100 Thieves, oh my god.
just get
Yeah, Carla,
just get to Saturday, and I do not care.
because then you get to you're alive basically. Even if you lose Saturday,
Yeah,
you're
because
alive.
even if we lose this,
You
we
can still
then
make it the
play you
world.
again.
Yeah.
Like I don't care what Brazilian scrub we have to beat to get there, because then we play you again in a best of 5 to go to Texas, right? Oh no, sorry,
Uh, it depends.
is there a lower bracket for this? It's not, is there? There's not a lower bracket for the
I
cross
honestly,
championship thing. I don't think so.
there is.
Is there?
But I think everybody starts in the lower bracket except for the finalists. So like, let's just hypothetically say Kane and FlyQuest, right? Or whatever, VKS, because they're. Let's just pretend it's VKS and FlyQuest because they're the ones that are currently waiting in the grand finals on both sides, right? If they win their matchups,
Mm-hmm.
they will have double elim. They will be on the top side. The loser of that will be in like third place, and then everybody else is in the lower bracket. Everybody else is fighting until eventually only one team probably is going to be Shopify versus Cloud9. If we're just hypothetically assuming that's what's going to happen, and then that one team is going to play VKS, and then the one team that wins qualifies to Worlds, and then they play VKS, and then the winner of that goes to play FlyQuest in the grand finals. So there technically is a lower bracket. It's just everybody starts in the lower bracket except for two teams.
I think it's just make it to Saturday, and then we'll like fate will decide us. Or to quote Bioshik, God has abandoned us.
I don't know about that. You guys did okay. You guys got to pick both your opponents. God was giving you grace. He sent his angels there to fight with you, and you're all just like let go of your weapons. This is not. You guys didn't pick up T1 as your match. Like, come on, man.
Just that 100 Thieves series.
Dude, Riot even changed the rules. They were like, "Oh, we have public rules. Let's bring up some private rules so that Cloud9 can be first." And it gave you guys the first place.
We didn't ask for that, by the way. We didn't ask for that bullshit.
Riot wanted you guys to win. They were done. They were like, Flack was annoying on Twitter. Let's give it.
No.
But like,
if anyone is hated by like Riot and others, it's C9.
no comment. I'm just messing, but I think you guys have not been abandoned. You guys had 3 pretty easy matchups, right? Because of the format, and then you got to pick your opponent twice. I feel like you guys were in a good position.
Should have been.
Unlike that quote when he got T1 in the first matchup, like, come on. Do we have any more questions? Yeah, there's actually one more question. Stowens, yeah. Stowen says, thoughts on half of the LTA North teams getting eliminated inside a closet because it's not Riot's favorite child anymore. I think we actually talked about this. I have no idea why League isn't Riot's favorite child when we're just better than Valorant. Like objectively, not like just objectively, we are better. But sure, your younger child who hasn't done half of what your older child has done, you like him more, whatever. I don't care as long as we get to play on the weekends and we get double elim. I don't really care that much. Obviously, what David said has gonna make me think a little bit more about my stance on that. But I think I talked about that extensively.
I think between viewership and like overall fan popularity, like match going fans, it's not even close between Valorant and League. Valorant absolutely destroys us. Like the amount of C9 fans that are at these VCT events, like roaring. Like we had like half Sentinels, half C9. You couldn't hear a peep when you was in C9 versus FlyQuest finals when it was one of the better FlyQuest, one of the better best of fighters of all time, like for NA. And we didn't even peep out of fans. The LA crowd is a joke, and I've banged that drum so many times. It's actually boring at this point.
Yeah, I actually I've been going through a list of things because the last time we had David on, we asked him like, what do you do if you're Riot in order to like save League of Legends? And like a lot of us were kind of stumped. We're like, we don't know at this point. What do we do? So I've been compiling a list of things, and I was actually going to make a series on TikTok of like, these are the things I want to see North American teams do, and I want Riot to do in order to save Riot. But maybe I could save it for an episode, and like maybe in the off season we can just talk about stuff like that. And one of them is actually, the reason I bring it up is because like LA fans, I think teams have gross. There's no home team that has LA as their home. There's no team that's like LA is our base. Everyone, like, no one took the lion's share of the fandom. Like no one had. It's just it's frustrating. But yeah, we can do that like a off season episode. But yeah, I think that's everything. I think we covered everything. Do you have shout outs? Or maybe we missed anything? Is there something that you wanted to add?
Shout out to Loki. Because for all like this shit, like just on a serious note, for like all this shit, he's been the only player, in my opinion, stepping up like truly. And this is his rookie year. And I think he's absolutely crushed this year. And I think he's on course to be an investment laner in the league. Like he's phenomenal for what he's already doing. Like, and like he was discounted before he'd even played a game. Like, oh, he hasn't got good numbers to Saint. We wanted Zinni. Whether that's true or not, like, I can't really speak on that. This kid's been phenomenal and is excellent scouting by C9. Like, and that's what I will give them praise for, is that like they took a chance on this guy and he's absolutely worked. And he's such an amazing personality as well. I love this guy.
Do you see in the C9 podcast, Zven said like we went to the bathroom before game 5 and I put my arm over like Loki's shoulder and I said like he was like very frustrated as to how we were playing. He was like, dude, just don't worry, we'll give you Zeri and you can just pop off. And they gave him Zeri and he popped off. So kudos to both of them. So that's a really good shout out. Any other shout outs? Anything you got prepared? I will shout you out personally.
I was going to just thank you for everyone that's appeared tonight. It's always good chats.
Shout out to you for the little scrolling banner that we got on the bottom. You've been putting a lot of effort into sort of leveling up the stream. So, and I think people appreciate that. I appreciate that personally. So yeah, shout out to you. For myself, I want to shout out. Well, I can't really reveal everything, but I did a collaboration with Ben 10 creators. So Ben 10. You watched it when you were younger?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's actually a really big community of like Ben 10 fans. And so yeah, one of them reached out and I did some stuff like mixing League of Legends with Ben 10, which I thought was really, really cool. So I'm really excited for that video to come out. I'll definitely shout out when all is said and done. Shout out. My next shout out is if you're going to Texas, like let us know in the Discord because I will be there. I think it'll be really cool to just like meet and say hi and take pictures and stuff. Hey, Russell is catching us at the end. Shout out there. I also had an interview with Revan after they lost to FlyQuest. He talks about like FlyQuest. He talks about Cloud9 actually. I was going to clip that and ship that as well. And he just talks about how Shopify are like even more confident now after what happened. So looking for, if you want to hear more about them. LTA report meeting in Texas. I think that's all my shout outs. Oh yeah, one last thing. Riot just announced that all pro voting is happening. So if you haven't gone and put in your Kia LTA favorite.com/north and go to that website and you can put in your fan votes. I think that it closes September 14th, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe September 11th or something like that. But yeah, you can vote. So you probably should, because sometimes the fans have better votes than some of the people that go there. Not naming names, but we've had some very weird pickings before. So yeah, just make your voice heard and join the Discord if you haven't. Subscribe to the YouTube channel because apparently 95% of the people that watch don't actually subscribe, which is normal. But yeah, subscribe to the channel and we'll see you next time.
Peace.